Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I just wanted to quickly mention my new shirt, if you can see it. I'm working on something right now, so you're just getting to see like a preview of what I'm working on. Today's video is going to be a review on the Ordinary Serum Foundation. So basically, from what I understand, Decium is the brand, and then within Decium they have different lines. One of them is the Ordinary. I've been wanting to visit the Abnormal Beauty Company for ages. One of their locations in Toronto is in Kensington Market, and it is the cutest little shop from the outside, and I've just never gone in. They have kind of weird hours, so every single time I'm in Kensington, they're not open. So I was with my friend the other day, and they were open, and so I'm like, okay, we need to go in. At first I wanted to just try some of their skincare, but then I saw their foundation, and you guys know that I love reviewing foundations. It's one of my favorite videos to film on YouTube. So I got the Ordinary Serum Foundation. They have two different foundations. One is the coverage foundation, the other is this one. I asked them if it is a serum foundation, like serum based, and the associate told me no, it just has the consistency of a serum in that it's very thin in viscosity. Okay, that's good to know because that will change how I apply it and what I apply it with. The best part about this foundation so far, without even having tried it yet, is the price. This retails for $6.70. $6.70. If you're on a budget, doesn't even need to be good. It's $6.70. How can you go wrong? Let's check out what this claims to do. It says it is a lightweight pigment suspension system with moderate coverage. First thing to note, it's not going to be full coverage, and that's fine because if you haven't already noticed or you don't already know, I like a very lightweight, natural looking, light to medium coverage foundation. This foundation comes in 21 shades. The first 10 shades alone are, in my opinion, just different shades of pink. There could be more range in the darker spectrum. I will say that. I'm happy that there are 21 shades and that they're catering to cool, warm, and neutral tones, but we definitely don't need all of, I just wish that there was more of a range on the darker side of the spectrum. 21 is a good amount. Usually the brands that have cheaper foundations don't expand in the shade range, so that's kind of nice to see, kind of. So this foundation is alcohol-free, oil-free, nut-free, vegan, gluten-free, soy-free, and most importantly, cruelty-free. Even if it's not good, I love everything that this brand stands for, and I want to try more of their products. It says the pigments used in this format are treated for a rich, highly saturated effect. These pigments are suspended in our proprietary spreadability system that allows pigments to look natural on the skin, resist collecting in fine lines, that's fantastic, and stay on for longer. Okay. Foundations offer a semi-matte finish, fine by me, and are compatible with most primers. Great. Okay, so I lied. So the best part about this brand is not that they're cruelty-free. The best part is that they're from Toronto. And you guys already know how much I love supporting local business. I feel like they're pretty well known. I'm not sure if that's just because I live in Toronto or because they are doing really well and expanding. Founded in 2013, and that just makes me super proud. Alright, so let's actually get into the demo because I've been talking for a really long time now. What I really like about the way that they've done this foundation range is that, kind of like MAC, they've done the warm, cool, and neutral undertones, but it actually fully says it for you on the bottle and when you're in store looking at the swatches. The weird thing that I found though is I picked the shade 21P Medium. It's a medium foundation shade with pink undertones, but when I swatched it, and you'll see when I open it, it's definitely not pink undertone. I don't know if that they're saying like you have pink undertones and you're trying to combat that with a yellow foundation to kind of like warm up your skin. I'm not sure. Oh, and it's also fragrance free, and you get 1 fluid ounce. Let's just break this bad boy open. I do like their packaging as well. I love the charcoal gray and the matte finish. It's very me. Gray is my favorite shade if you didn't already know that, and I love anything matte. If you ever looked at any of my paintings or watched any of my tutorials, I like a matte finish to everything. It is a plastic bottle, which is fine by me because I'm a klutz and I would probably break it if it was glass. I love the finish of the packaging. I love that it's a pump, first of all. I wish it had a cap though for travel purposes, not gonna lie. But I do love that it's a soft touch top and that the bottle has got that matte finish as well. So you can see what I'm saying. This one's supposed to have pink undertones, but it's very, very warm. I actually think it might be too yellow for me. One thing that you need to pay attention to when you're applying your makeup is to make sure that if you're gonna use a primer, not everyone uses one, but if you're going to use a primer that's got the same base as your foundation. So this is a water-based foundation. I'm going to use a water-based primer. Sometimes people will do reviews or first impressions and you'll notice that the primer is starting to ball up under the foundation, or the foundation is getting removed as they're trying to blend it or apply their concealer, and that's because they're probably using a foundation with a different base than their primer, and that's causing things to separate or be removed. So it wouldn't make sense for me to use a beauty oil first or to use a silicone primer with this foundation. It's just probably not gonna look good. There are rare cases where it does work, but I'm not gonna take that chance and then have a bad review because I decided to do that. So after that long spiel, I'm gonna use a water-based primer today. And keeping with the Toronto theme, and because it also is one of my favorite brands, I'm gonna be using the Evelyn Iona Green Tea Primer. This looks janky as F because it's been in my makeup bag and I use it every single day. And again, they are cruelty-free and vegan and paraben-free and all natural and all that goodness. I'm gonna apply this all over the face. This is a very nourishing primer. It's a very thin consistency. I like to use it because I feel like every single time I'm applying it, I'm re-moisturizing my skin, but in the best way possible. Face is primed and ready to go. If you haven't watched my reviews before, I always do one side with a beauty sponge and one side with a brush. So for the sponge side today, I'm going to be using my Pure Cosmetics sponge. This has replaced my beauty blender. I love this sponge. And then for the brush side, I'm going to be using my Eco Tools Custom Coverage Buffing Brush. So let's just go ahead and jump right in. So you twist it to open it. Alright, so there's the color. It might be a little warm for me, but we'll see. So I'm just going to do 1.5 pumps to start and see what that gets me. Oh, that's warm. Oh god. Alright, we'll make it work. We'll make it work. Going in with the sponge. Wow, blends really nicely. Oh shit, let me zoom you in. Right off the bat, blends super easily. I can already tell, even though I usually like a light coverage foundation, that this is probably going to be too light coverage and I'm going to have to layer a lot. Okay, so far I'm getting little to no coverage and I've used up everything on the back of my hand. Let's do another pump. In consistency, it reminds me of the NYX Total Drop Foundation. So I don't know if it's just too warm for me and that's why I'm just not liking it. Because I feel like I'm not getting coverage, not because it's not high coverage enough, but because it's just too warm, so I'm just getting, I look jaundiced. Okay, that looks better. It blends really easily. It builds very well as well. It's not clinging to any of my dry spots or emphasizing any of my fine lines. I'm just trying to get over this color, because I think if it was the right shade, I would like it so much more. But I look like an Oompa Loompa. Okay, so that's the sponge side. So far, I dig it. I just definitely have the wrong color. Let's move on to the brush side. I also feel like I'm always doing these reviews when my skin looks the worst. Like when I have the worst breakouts. I guess that's a good time to test out a foundation, right? Going in with the brush. Oh my god. Okay, so the brush pretty much absorbed all of that. I don't know if you saw that. I'm just gonna take a setting spray and spritz the brush a little bit and see if that helps. And I'm gonna stipple instead of buff. Okay, so that definitely works better. So with a damp brush, I'm getting much more coverage and I'm using less product. I usually wouldn't bring it down this far, but I've got some serious breakouts, so it looks so orange. I think my skin looks really nice. I think it gave me more coverage than I was expecting. I just really like when a foundation can just overall even out my skin tone, but I have really oily skin, so I can't really use a lot of BB creams. Okay, so it does look a little dry around my mouth on both sides. My forehead's looking pretty good, which usually it doesn't ever with any foundation. I can't honestly say that I see a massive difference between the brush and the sponge. You know what? I'm going to go ahead and say that I like the sponge side like a hair more because it's leaving my skin looking a little bit more glowy and smooth, and the brush side looks a bit more dry. I don't know if you can see that. So it is currently 1:22 p.m. I'm going to go finish the rest of my makeup and then I will come back to talk to you guys about my thoughts on the foundation. So I am back. I did the rest of my makeup. I'm trying out a new look today. I'm not usually a glitter girl. I usually tend to stay away from glitter. It's just not my thing. I don't hate how this looks. Anyway, so I did the rest of my makeup. I will say my concealer blended beautifully into this foundation. I had no issues with it. It feels very lightweight. I barely feel it on my face. My powders blended beautifully. I tried to strategically use my lighter powders and my concealer to kind of balance out how warm my face was because the foundation is so yellow toned. I think I did an okay job. Still clearly like too dark, but I think I evened it out pretty well. It is looking a little bit dry on my chin and where I usually get the dry spots. Not nearly as bad as usual though. It's much less significant. Forehead's looking pretty good. It's looking a little bit like very matte though, I will say, but it looks good. It's not accentuating any of my fine lines or making it look like the Sahara Desert like it usually does. My neck and my chin right around here, it does look a little dry. I will say that. However, I did pile on a lot more there to cover my breakouts, and I also applied a little bit of my concealer as well, so that's probably why. I'm not going to blame it on the foundation. Sides of my nose, it's not collecting at all on the side that I use a sponge, but it is collecting a teeny bit where I used a brush. So that's something that I noticed overall while I was doing my makeup, is that this side of my face looked a lot more blended and flawless and luminous than the side where I used the sponge. So I think for the first time ever, I'm going to say that I definitely like the sponge side better than the brush side. So far, I do like this foundation. I do wish that I had got it in the right color, but for $6.70, if I end up really liking this by the end of the review, I'm just going to go back and buy it in the right color. I don't feel it too much on my face. I may have sprayed a little bit too much on my setting spray, so that's why my forehead feels a little bit weird. Alright, so I'm going to go about the rest of my day, and I will check back in with you guys at the end of the day. So I will see you then. Okay, so it is currently 11:04 p.m. So I've had this foundation on for almost 9 hours now, and I have to say I'm really impressed with it. I have not blotted or powdered at all day because I didn't actually feel the need to. My skin is looking pretty dewy right now, but I was not expecting for it to feel this good for this long. I was pleasantly surprised by this foundation. It held up really well throughout the day to my oily skin. My oily skin is just now finally starting to eat away at it. Around here, the apples on my cheeks and my chin. It did gather around my nose on this side. Not so much so on this side, and again I'm thinking that's because I used the sponge on this side so it absorbed any excess product, whereas the brush kind of like packed it in there. It does look a little bit more like cakey / powdery between my brows and around my mouth than it did earlier today. So what I'm going to do is blot and see what that looks like, see if I need to powder, and if I don't need to powder, then I'm just going to zoom in real close and show you what it looks like after 9 hours of wear. So for blotting papers today, I'm using my usual. These are the Sephora charcoal blotting papers. I feel like it's so much oilier than it looks, which I guess is a good thing. Oh my god, yeah. So, I'm gonna go ahead and say that it's pretty greasy. For me personally, if it only started to look that greasy after 9 hours, I can deal with that, because for the majority of the day, it looked like this, which I honestly think looks pretty good. See, just blotting automatically de-emphasized how cakey it started to look here and around my mouth. It already looks much better again. I think if you have oily to combination skin, this will work for you, and you're not looking for super high coverage. It's definitely buildable, so you can get some coverage out of it. It did fade away on my neck, but I was wearing a necklace and I was kind of leaning on my jaw a lot, and I did lie down a bit this evening. I really like this foundation. It felt good all day. It didn't feel itchy. It didn't feel cakey. It didn't feel thick. I didn't feel like I was wearing a lot of product on my face, and like I've said in almost every other foundation video I've done, if I can feel something on my face, I will not wear it. So I didn't feel this, so I would feel inclined to wear it. I don't wear foundation every single day of the week. On a regular day-to-day basis, when I'm doing my makeup, I usually just use a powder foundation. That's enough coverage for me. So I'm just going to zoom you in now so you can see what my skin looks like. So overall thoughts, I give this foundation 2 thumbs up. If you're on a budget or you just want your skin to look nice but you don't need super high coverage, this is a great foundation choice. I still can't get over the price. and I really love the shade range. I love that it's cruelty free and vegan and soy free and all of that. I absolutely love that it's a Toronto brand. That hits me right in the feels. So yeah, overall, really like it. I want to try more of their stuff now. And for me, like my nose especially is the one spot I'll know if I really like a foundation. And this looks like I'm not wearing anything on my nose. Like it doesn't emphasize my pores. It doesn't make it look like I have like blackheads or like you can really see like my sebaceous filaments. My nose just looks smooth and I didn't use a smoothing primer. Yeah, I like this foundation a lot. I just need to get the right color. Decium, the Ordinary Serum foundation, is VGlow approved. I will just list their website down below so that you can see the different locations they have in Toronto and check them out for yourself. Don't think I have anything else to say except thank you so much for watching. As always, please subscribe if you haven't already. I mean, I hate being that YouTuber that like has to like tell you or ask you to subscribe. I never wanted to be that person, but I feel like people just don't remember to do it unless you say it. So if you want to subscribe, please subscribe. It helps me a lot and means a lot to me. Hit me up on my socials. I will put them somewhere on the screen here. I think that's it. So thank you so much for watching and I'll see you in my next video. Let's hope that what happened last year doesn't happen today. If something falls over and lands and burns in the candle. I can't get my shit together. What a reel's for. I can speak English. I should probably have had coffee before this. Oh my gosh. Am I like a typical dude in a photo?
Following sponsor.